Okay, oh, and from the girls that we worked with, Megan, Diamond, and Olivia, was there any, besides going over more the same from last time, and we're gonna probably touch on more stuff, was there anything else you guys want to touch on in addition to what we did last time?
I thought it was pretty cool using the timer to just help you in this practice session to help you get a feel for how long 40 seconds is. Because
Exactly.
you feel like you have more time and then you glance down, you're at 53 seconds and you're like, oh, snap.
So yeah, like just like Diamond and Olivia and Megan did a really good strategy. So you can totally do this for the actual real pageant itself. Have your phone off camera. Okay, it's very important to be off camera and time yourself. So that way you already have an idea. This is the only time I've ever known the pageant where you can actually do this. Like you guys have such a huge advantage in your virtual pageant. Like everything off camera is within your control. So you could even, you didn't hear this from me, but if you need reminders for your platform, you can even post it right there next to your camera and like read it off if you need to. All right, again, not from me.
Should like those science fair project boards, you know, the fold out ones, you can just have that behind your computer.
Just have an entire, like, yeah, and I just recorded myself saying that, so that's probably not the smartest thing for me to do.
Let's edit that out.
Yeah, we'll just edit
just
that
stop record and then re-record.
You'll just be off camera for that.
Yeah, you guys didn't hear that at all. Okay, so what's the thing? Yeah, and also when the question is asked you for the Q&A, you won't be timed for the interview. So the interview is the full 10 minutes, so you can use that anytime you want to, any way you want to. It's just that 10 minutes it cuts off. But for the Q&A, it's 40-second time limit. 20 seconds is, Olivia, why is 20 seconds too short usually?
It doesn't give you enough time to say a compelling answer and build your arguments or wrap it up. So if you're airing towards 10 to 20 seconds, you're probably undershooting. That's
right, because we've had delegates in the past who made top 10. And by the way, there's no top 10 this year. You all are going to be doing Q&A across the board, so no one is safe from this. Yeah, we've had delegates in the past who essentially when they're asked a question, they're like, yes, I believe that is a good idea. We should do that. And then that's it. Like that literally 8-second answer. And of course, the judges are like, okay. And she did not score that high on that just because the judges felt like she wasn't confident with what she could share with the audience, right? I think that is really the big picture things that we'll obviously keep touching on things as we go along. So let me go ahead and go with Megan first. Okay.
You got it, babes.
Megan!
And let us.
Hype squad.
Okay, here you go. So again, Megan and everyone out there who wants to practice, I'm going to time you, of course, Megan. And I highly recommend you get used to timing yourself off camera too, just to have that sense of security there, okay? So here's your question. So Megan, how are you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Really good. So your question is, do you have a dream job? And if it is, what is it and why?
So my current dream job is to help others and to build medical devices. So essentially, in the past, I was super interested in designing, engineering, and medicine. So I kind of combined all of those to have my dream job of designing medical devices. And with this, I want to help others and improve the healthcare industry with engineering. And with that, my dream job is to build medical devices and help shape the future.
Excellent. I got the 29 seconds. Is that what you got?
Yeah.
All right, good. Tara, any feedback?
I think she did great. Good job being the first time. I know it's rough. I would say that maybe you could explain or elaborate like more why personally you want to do that. Like, you know, like a little backstory, like super short, obviously, we don't have much time, but it would mean more and like more personal, the questions to you. But it's great.
Excellent, very good. Diamond?
Yeah, I think, because you were in our group last time, I think this answer was a huge improvement. You really started, you had your idea formed, you started it, you gave a little background, and then you came back around. And from last week, I thought that that was a huge improvement. So good job.
Thank you.
Excellent. Olivia?
Yeah, likewise. You finished strong, which was great. And it was very clear what your stance was. So I remember medical devices. I think you said it 3 times. So like it really made an impression on me. And I would agree with Tara. Maybe adding 1 or 2 reasons why to justify the decision that you've made.
What's next? Stella?
I think you did a really good job. I watched part of last week's video and your confidence is so much better. Like you're so on top of it. Like other people have said, you mentioned a medical device thing 3 times. I think if you add the details in and say the medical device thing 2 times, then you'd have enough time in between. And yeah, good job.
Awesome. Thank you. And Kim, feedback, please. And you're on mute, by the way.
No wonder. Okay. I think this is my first time critiquing, but I've noticed that you stated your answer, your reasoning, and you restated it, so which is like perfect. You hit like, you know, that part. I also agree with everyone else. I felt that yes, your answer was good, but there wasn't a compelling like why is it meaningful to you? Like why did you want to do this? So overall, your answer was great. I liked it still.
Excellent. Well done. And pretty much everything else everyone said. You guys are getting very, very good at this. But yeah, just a look like literally 3-5 seconds of why this is something that's important to you, and the fact that because I know you, at least personally, Kim, I know that you have passions in healthcare, in engineering, and in design. So that's why that's a perfect dream test. So make sure the audience knows that too. That's always been your curiosity since high school, if I'm not mistaken, right? Oh yes, Diamond.
I feel like I actually did hear you try to give your background right in the middle by saying,
Sure.
yeah, you said like before I was always passionate about, but I feel like it didn't really leave a lasting impression on all of us, which is why that's the common critique. So I did hear you try to say it. I just want to let you know that I did hear that.
Yeah, a stronger presence of that, but otherwise, huge improvement from last week, obviously, or this past few days. So already really awesome. Okay, Tara, you're next. You ready?
Yeah. Sorry, I've been muting myself just in case like the wind decides to be extraordinarily annoying. But yeah, I'm ready.
In case the wind tries to be a little extra. Okay, good. All right. Oh, this one is good. Let's go for this one for you. All right. Let me get my timer ready. You got your timer ready, Tara?
But you don't know that.
No, I don't know that. I hope you do. Okay, here goes.
I do.
Tara, how are you doing?
Good. How are you, Francis?
Doing very well. Here is your question. Have you ever been bullied? And if so, how did you handle it?
Thank you for the question. Bullying is a very important topic, and I have experienced cyberbullying, unfortunately. How I handled it was I let my peers express their feelings and listen to what they were saying before expressing my own feelings in a respectful way. And furthermore, if I was to be bullied again, I would probably just ignore the bullies and just understand that they're coming from a place where they're trying to give critique rather than, oh my God. Sorry, the wind really distracted me there. Oh, okay.
That's good.
And that's what I would do next time I was people.
Okay, cool. I'm reckoning that roughly around 32 seconds there. Okay, cool. Megan, feedback, please.
I like how you fully stated, I guess you talked about your experience first, and then you went into the future, like if you were to be bullied again, and then you explain your answer. So good job on explaining the answer like really fully.
Okay, cool. Diamond?
Yeah, I thought your beginning and your middle were really strong, and perhaps it was because you got a little distracted at the end, but your conclusion was kind of lost on me. I don't know what your conclusion was. I don't know if I didn't hear it, or maybe I just, all I really remember is you said the wind was distracting. Sorry.
Yeah, I think the win was a factor there too. I lost a bit of the end there, but I think it was that. I think what you were saying, Tara, was that you're just gonna ignore them next time, right? And not have them get to you. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically my mirror almost fell over, so I was like, oh shoot, but that was not a good timing. But yeah.
Okay. Cool. Olivia.
Francis, can you remind me what the last phrase of the question was that you asked? It was
So
2 parts.
have you ever been bullied? And if you did, then how did you handle it?
I felt like Tara answered the first part, but not the second part. And I almost forgot the question. So I would have loved if you had a chance to restate it and remind us sort of what the question was and why you feel that way. But you know, it was your first time. Great job.
Awesome. Stella, feedback?
I think you did a great job, sounding confident all the way through. And like I said, I think that if you, maybe your conclusion, because I heard your conclusion actually twice. So maybe they were confused because you restated the conclusion twice. So it wasn't really like the last sentence. It was just a little repetitive. But yeah, so maybe if you talked about your story a little bit more about how you got bullied and what you did, and then the last sentence was just what you do in the future, then that would be more reflective. But I really like that you did reflect on it.
Awesome. Very good. And Kim?
I think you started off like so strong. It was really nice and powerful. And I think towards the end, maybe because of the win, is your first question, but I think the ending could have been a lot better. But I think overall you did answer the question. I think just the ending was okay. But overall it was really good still.
Okay, excellent. And so, Tara, my feedback is that, yeah, the good, strong answer to it. Oh, we got another one coming in. Let's welcome Kathy into the mix here as soon as she gets admitted in here. That overall, really good answer. And yeah, I think one thing we're going to definitely go over is the fact that how you present, and also especially how you end it, like your closing, this is what I told you, like that part is probably 50% of the impression. Because just like with Olivia, right? Some people forget what the question is. They may even remember what your answer is to begin with, but what they will remember is that last closing statement. Like they'll have a vague memory of what you're saying, but then that last closing statement, which needs to be, as much as possible, empowering and strong, that is probably going to be 50% of their impression, which translates about 50% of how they're going to score you, okay? So the closing is, you almost need to have, no, not even almost, you do. You need to have the closing in mind before you even open your mouth. And Megan can probably learn a lot of that already. Like Megan's first attempt was to, and this is something that a lot of newbies do, a lot of new delegates do, is they don't like the silence right after questions asked, so they try to fill up the silence as fast as possible, and that's something you don't want to do if you don't know what you want to say. You do not want to make up your answer as you go along. So have your closing statement already in mind, and then start talking. Okay. And let us also welcome Kathy. Hey, Kathy, are you there? And
yes, hello.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
You have a camera?
Yes, give me one moment.
Okay.
I'm just getting set up.
We're just gonna go down line bit. We have a great audience here today to practice with. So, okay, while you're getting set up, I'm gonna go on to our next contestant, delegate, Diamond.
Me.
You, yes, you. Okay. Are you ready, Diamond?
I hope so. My hands are still clammy, so.
Oh gosh, you got. My God, Diamond, you guys are so well skilled.
I brought my towel though this time.
Oh, that is a beautiful towel. Yes, that is much better looking than my towel. Okay. All right. Let me see. Where's that question I had for you? Okay, this is a good one. You ready?
Yes.
All right. How are you doing today, Diamond?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well. And the question we have for you is this. If you were to wake up tomorrow morning and gain any one ability or one quality, what would that quality or ability be and why?
This is a great question. I've actually already thought of this. I would love to have the ability to rewatch some of my memories. And the reason for this is I often forget small bits of what I say, and it comes back to bite me in the butt later on. And so I would love to be able to go back, watch my memories, see what I actually said, and then continue on with my day. Thank you.
26 seconds. Excellent. All right, Megan, feedback, please.
I like how enthusiastic and confident you sounded. You stated your answer and then went on to explain it, and then it was very clear what your answer was throughout the whole time.
Excellent. Thank you. Tara?
Yeah, she definitely got the answer, reasoning, and restated it. It was like a well thought out essay. Like she knew what she was saying, and I totally relate, honestly. So yeah, that was a great answer.
Fantastic. Olivia?
I thought you came across very authentic. Like, you already know I love you, Diamond, and I think you did such a good job as well staying on time. It was short, it was succinct, it was punchy, and it didn't feel forced. And I think that's why I liked your answer so much.
Excellent. Stella?
Like everyone said, I really like how authentic you were. You added your own little humor to it, which made me like feel really connected to your answer. And then the structure was great, and the way you presented it was amazing. So good job.
Excellent. And then we have Kim.
Yeah, I think everyone definitely said it and nailed it. You sound so authentic. Like your personality really shine, especially like that little joke in the middle. Oh, that was great. I love that. And overall, I think you started strong, you ended strong too.
Excellent. Very good. And Kathy?
I think you came off very confident, and I think it was very straightforward. So overall, I think you did really good.
Excellent. Yep. Praises all around for you, Diamond. I loved it. Basically, what your superpower is basically perfect photogenic memory, apparently. And that
Well,
actually
not just photogenic. I want to actually hear what I said as well, because that's what I forget. I don't want to just see
like
it.
an
I want to
actual
hear
movie
what I said.
play in your head. That's awesome. That would be super awesome. There's a book I need to recommend to you. There's a character that he's a detective, and he actually has that power by accident. Speaking, it was an accident where he banged his head, and he lost personality, but he gained perfect memory of words and sounds and smells, and anything that happened from that point onward in his life.
So could he emulate personality?
No, he has no personality. He has no. He's almost autistic now. But he has like exactly what you described. Like that's how he solves crimes, because he actually can play back things almost inch by inch, sound by sound, smell by smell. It's pretty. I still need a book, but I was like, oh,
sounds interesting.
Who is that? Sherlock Holmes?
No, it's a recent novel by one of the really famous modern authors that I really got into. But he's basically a detective with the exact ability that Diamond said that she had. But his flaw is the fact that he's lost. He's basically autistic now when it comes to emotional connection with people. So he's almost like a little bit like a robot, but not quite. So, but it's very interesting, and it's a really good writing. So I'll send you the book.
My superhero power wouldn't have flaws included. Just want to add that out there.
Yes, superpowers, no weaknesses. Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Olivia, you're next. Ready?
Sounds good. Yeah.
All right. Okay, here's one for you. All right. Get everything ready here. All right, Olivia, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Francis?
Doing well. Your question is, if you could give one piece of advice to our president today, what would it be and why?
Thanks, Francis. That is a very good question. There's so many things I would like to say to our current president, but I think the thing I'd like to leave and impart is that people who have power and control can be very powerful in this world, but without empathy and heart, it's dangerous. And so I believe world leaders need to lead with compassion, and that would be the message that I would share with Donald Trump today.
Excellent. Thank you so much. 32 seconds. Megan, feedback, please.
I liked how you clearly stated your answer. I guess it wasn't right in the beginning, but eventually got there, which was good. And you ended off with a strong note.
Excellent. Thank you. Tara, feedback, please.
Yeah, I thought you had like really good flow. Like you weren't rushing or anything, and you're very confident in each word you were going to say. And it was a really well-rounded answer, yeah.
Excellent. Diamond?
Yeah, I agree with Tara in that the way that you speak is really soothing and it's very clear and right to the point, which is nice because I felt like I knew your point, you gave your example, and then you did an amazing job of closing it with saying, this is what I would tell him.
Excellent. Well done. Stella?
I really like your answer. Like everyone said, I think at the beginning you started off while you were still thinking, which is okay. Like, I mean, you pulled through, you were confident while you said it. And I really like your answer about, I just really like the content of your answer itself. So, yeah.
Excellent. Kim?
I think in the beginning, I noticed that you didn't really have an answer, but that was okay. You took your time still. You didn't like start right away and just talk. You took a couple breaths and then you talked. So I really appreciate that. And I like how you drew like an imagery for us too with the whole power, and you like ended up with compassion. And I really like that.
Excellent. Kathy?
I think what I really like about your voice is it's very calming, and it's very nice to listen to. So even though you had a you had to think through the question, I think your voice really saved your answer in a way. So keep staying calm, because I think it really helps with how you answer your questions.
Excellent. From my feedback, yeah, really nothing. I thought it was really well done. Good job, Olivia. Very calm and soothing, like everyone says. You should definitely do a podcast, I think.
I was trying to hold back profanities. I was like, what do I want to tell this guy? I wasn't sure.
Well, what I would really tell this guy,
what I really want to say.
Funny, hilarious. Okay.
Thank you,
Good
everyone.
job. Well done. And yeah, again, wonderful pace. Good job. Okay. I'm going to move on to our next delegate here. So Stella, you're next. Ready?
Yay. Sure.
Yay. All right. So are you nervous in front of the first time doing it in front of all your sisters, or a lot of your sisters there?
I just have anxiety in general about public speaking, so we got this.
You totally got this. Okay, let me think of something. Okay, here's one. Here. Again, remember, take a deep breath, think, formulate your answer, especially how you're going to close it, and then deliver it, okay? So again, this is not there's nothing wrong with taking 5 to 8 seconds to just be quiet and think. Do not take 20 seconds. That is too long. All right, but 5 to 8 seconds is good. All right, here goes. How are you doing, Stella?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing really well, and we have a question for you here. Stella, what would you say is your biggest failure in life, and how did you handle it?
I think my biggest failure would be not reflecting on my mistakes in the past. I think for the longest part of my life, I was living it and I realized I was unhappy, but I couldn't quite find what. But I didn't take the time to actually see what was going wrong, what would make me more happy. And so the way that I would handle it is from now on to write down the things that I'm not happy with, that I don't see in my life, that I see in my life that aren't there. And I think journaling would be a great process to handle this because it really helps you pinpoint the problem. So I would journal, and my biggest regret would be to not to not reflect.
45 seconds, so about 5 seconds over. But not bad for your first time. Excellent, well done. Let's jump over here. Megan, feedback, please.
Yeah, I really liked how the answer, like I felt it come straight from your heart. It was very compelling and very compassionate. And yeah, it was very clear what your answer was, and you really explained it. You brought in your personal experiences, which was also nice. I felt connected in that way. And then I guess the only downside I saw was towards the end. I do this a lot, but I could also see you start to ramble a little bit around the 40-second mark. So what I learned from last time was just, I guess, around 30 seconds, you could just finalize the answer and say the final sentence and then kind of end it there.
Excellent feedback. Thank you, Megan. Tara.
Yeah, you did great for your first time. Anxiety public speaking, who? I would agree with what Megan was saying, where you started to ramble a little towards the end, but just like be confident in what you're saying and like forget. And every time I notice, like in a public speaking, every time you want to say just kind of like pause instead. If I don't know if that's like Francis would agree, but that's what I try to do when I'm public speaking, because just can like make your words seem a little less professional. But aside that, it was a great answer.
Excellent. Thank you. Diamond?
I would say, good job. Good job. It's nerve-wracking to answer questions. And I would say that I feel like you had two separate answers going on for the question that was posed. And perhaps you could have tied them together a little bit more, but I noticed that your concluding sentence was more of how you deal, or how I'm not quite sure what I'm trying to say, but it wasn't quite answering the question that was posed, which was what's your biggest failure in life? So I think I might keep that in mind with your closing statements, is that you got to bring it back to that. You can keep your mitigation process in the middle as sort of your supporting argument, and then come back to the question at the end.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Olivia?
So I personally really like answers that take one real life example as a use case. And I think when you're answering a question like this, it's easy to sort of be abstract and say like, here's the things at a high level that were my biggest failure. But I think for just human memory's sake, if you dial into the one very specific thing, you can build more rapport and resonance with your audience, because if they can relate to what you're saying, then it'll be more memorable. So I just, like, it's kind of my feedback across the board is to be really concrete about the thing that you're talking about, and to like move it from a layer of abstraction. So anyone can say, oh, her biggest failure is it happened on X day in this time and place. It's a snapshot of a bigger picture. And that would be my only suggestion, but great job, Stella.
Excellent. Well done. Kim?
I think like what everyone said so far, you started off really well, and as you were diving into the details some more, I think your thought got a little bit lost in that process, which is where like the just over talking a little bit happens, which is normal. I probably would have done the same, but I think you could have ended it a lot better. But I'm glad that you actually did restate your answer, so that was good.
Excellent. Thank you. Kathy?
I think for your first time, you did well. I think practice makes perfect. So you just need to practice and maintain your composure. I know I get nervous as well. So I think try to keep it short, sweet, and simple. If you know that you may ramble with your answers, just keep it as short and simple as you can.
Excellent. Very good. Again, my feedback, great job, Stella. But yeah, if your answer was that, what was your biggest failure? And you could flat out say that my biggest failure is that I did not record and journal all of the events in my life that are important and meaningful to me. That could be what you consider your biggest failure. And just state that in the very beginning, explain why that's important, and the ending goes, going forward, that is what I'm doing now. I'm journaling all my events, the things that are meaningful, help me reflect on who I am and how I see the world around me. That could be like, the answer to that. Something concrete, like Olivia Diamond said, like something that's, again, what are you gonna tell them? Can you tell them? And what you told them? Remember that formula fits for essays, speeches, and 40-second answers. Okay?
Thank you.
Excellent. Well done. Kim, you're next.
Okay.
All right. I know you've been waiting for this all week, right?
We just have to do it.
So let's clear this. All right. How you doing, Kim?
I'm doing great. How are you, Francis?
Doing well. Here is your question. Kim, if you knew that you only had 1 year left to live, would you change anything about the way you're living now, and why?
Thank you, Francis. If I had another year to live, I wouldn't change any aspect of my life. I loved everything about it. I loved my family, my friends, and if anything, I would continue to do what I love and what my passions are. And I would continue to try to make an impact in the world, and which is what I'm trying to do today. So overall, I would continue to live my life as it is.
Excellent. 30 seconds. Nicely done. All right. Megan, feedback, please.
Good job. I liked how you said your answer really clearly in the beginning, builds upon that, and ended up with a strong finish and repeated what you're going to say.
Diamond?
Yeah, I liked your formula of your answer. My critique would be, I wish I would have known a little bit more about like your passion or your life, how it is right now, because I know you want to keep living your life right now and keep doing what you're doing, but what is it that you're doing?
Excellent. Good. Stella?
I like how you answered it very strong and confident. The content was great. You stuttered once, but you really pulled through. So good job.
Kathy?
I think overall, I have no critique. It was very straightforward, and I really like your answer overall.
Excellent. Well done. Tara?
Yeah, I gotta agree with everyone. You did great. It was a very solid answer, and I would just probably agree with Diamond's critique to maybe elaborate more, because now I'm really curious what your life is like, that you wouldn't change anything. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And Olivia?
Echoing same sentiments, I want to know more about your personality. So like in that answer, is there anything that you can really pull out and draw that sets you apart from everyone else? Because I feel like the judges have such a snapshot moment to be able to get to know who you are. And out of that answer, like it was a very pleasant answer, but it's nothing that's going to be like sitting in the back of my head after I hear 15 other girls talk. And I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but I just want to share what I think could be useful to everyone. Otherwise, like, great answer. Keep going. This is really good practice.
Excellent. Yep. Great feedback from everyone. And yeah, I agree. You had a great answer, Kim, but you still have a good 10 seconds that you could have, like, you could use 5 of those seconds just to share what it is that your life is like right now. Why are you so happy? Like, what are you doing right now that's so passionate with your heart? Give us that little peek inside that makes your life meaningful. Because right now, the impression that they don't know you, which they won't, they know that from your answer, you're happy and content with who you are and how you are. That's great. They just don't know what that is. Okay. So if you can spend 35 seconds on that, I mean, you know, the whole thing, that gives them, that alone will bring it up to another level of just of breadth and understanding. So exactly like what Olivia said, you get that little snapshot to share. So squeeze as much as you can in there, but definitely about 35 seconds and you wrap it up. Okay. Were you keeping time as well?
Yes, I was.
Okay, good. So you had a full 10 seconds actually, but well done for your first time. Excellent. All right, Kathy, you're up. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, great. What is a good question for you? Oh, I got one here for you. Okay. Hi, Kathy. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well. Your question is, why did you select your pageant platform, and how did you come about to make it a reality in the world?
I chose my pageant platform because I think it's very relevant in today's world. My platform is to break beauty standards within the fashion, entertainment, and beauty industries. I feel like it's really affecting a lot of people's mental health. So I want to raise more awareness on this issue. And as a founder of PetiteGirls.com, I'm empowering petite women through giving them personal advice on building confidence and self-love. And I think this is the right direction into, this is going towards the right direction.
44 seconds. So a little bit of a time. Let us go down and get some critique here.
Okay.
Well done, though. Okay, Tara, let's go with you first. Feedback, please.
Okay. Yeah, you did great for your first time. I would say you started off super strong and then maybe like kind of lost where you were going towards the end because it seemed like you didn't know how to wrap it up or like finish your thought. So maybe just like restate the question and integrate your answer in it, and then even really good. Yeah.
Thank you, Tara. Diamond.
Yeah, I liked your answer. I liked your middle, and I really liked your end. I would have liked to have seen in the beginning for you to state what the problem was in the fashion industry or what the beauty industry was. I think that would have just really helped your argument, starting it from the beginning. instead of me waiting until I heard the end of your middle and your conclusion to figure out what the problem was.
Excellent. Thank you, Diamond. Olivia.
I really liked your answer. Kathy, I think you did a great job at the point where you introduced what you do, because the second that you said, I'm the founder of blah, blah, blah.com, I was like, oh, okay, this is new information and it's relevant and it's cool. I wish you would have led with that because you really grabbed my attention there. And I feel like if you could have started with, I'm the founder of this is my mission, this is what we do. What's the rest of the question? How I started this and why I'm doing this again. And that's my platform. And I feel like that would have been really great. But honestly, well done. I really enjoyed your answer.
Thank you.
Good job. Stella.
I think you did a really good job all the way through. At the end, it was a little bit hesitant. I don't know if that's because you realized that you were over time or not. But if you had just said the last sentence and then not repeated it, I think you would have been perfectly fine. And yeah, good confidence. I loved hearing about your passion. So.
Thank you.
Megan.
Yeah, pretty much what everyone else has been saying. I really like how it came from the heart, and you really seem passionate about it. So it drew me to keep wanting to hear more about what you want to say.
Excellent. Well done. And Kim.
I really liked how you pulled about what you do, what you currently do, because from my basic understanding and knowledge from you, I know that you do petite, I forget what it's called already, but you have your thing and I'm aware of it. And I'm glad that you pulled it in and you pulled the question together. Overall, I felt that the way you led it was good, or how Diamond said, maybe you would have started with a problem to introduce it a little bit in what the fashion industry was. Just because, we want a snapshot, what's the problem? Why are you doing this?
Excellent. Well done. And yeah, same thing, Kathy, which what everyone said. Great job for your first time. Excellent. But yeah, really bring it home. Like I said, you have 40 seconds. Were you keeping time, by the way, Kathy?
No.
Okay, get your phone out. Get used to that. This is a huge advantage in this pageant is that no one knows what you're doing off camera. Do not waste that opportunity. Rose was saying, Francis, we could have the staff keep time for them and message them when they're 30 seconds. I'm forget that, Rose. They could do it themselves. There's more important things for us to do. Trust me, whatever you don't see off camera, they're doing right now. So use that opportunity. Time yourself. Okay, get your phone out there and time yourself.
Just don't have a mirror behind you.
Yes, don't have a mirror behind you. That's very important. Thank you for that. Yes, that would be embarrassing. All right. So again, hit the ground running and just remember the formula, right? Tell them you can tell them, and tell them you tell them. So know exactly what you're gonna say before you open your mouth. And then give a preview, explain what it is, and then close strong. Okay? Closing is almost the entire game here. It's such a big impression. Okay, now with all those things in mind, timing and quality, quantity, and all that stuff, now it's the favorite part of my favorite part of the session here is to see you guys ask each other questions. So we're gonna start off with Megan. Megan, do you have your 5 questions ready for some sharing today?
Yeah, I have some.
Awesome. Who is gonna be your first sister of choice?
Okay. This is for Kim.
All right. This is for Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Hi, Megan.
Here's your question. If you could change one thing in the world, what would it be?
Thank you, Megan. I think the one thing I would change about the entire world is that I believe that we should be more in unity or more in solidarity. We are all basic humans and we all have a loving heart, empathy, and compassion. And I feel that if we all stand in unity and in solidarity with each other, we would be so much stronger as a team working towards a goal instead of being separate. So overall, I would change the world in hopes that we stand together in unity. I did not time myself at all.
Yourself in time, but get used to timing yourself. You're about 33, 34 seconds there.
Okay.
Megan, got some feedback?
Yeah, good job. I like the answer was really clear throughout the whole entire time. I liked how I think their format was really fluid. Yes, I kind of wish there was more meat in the middle, where you kind of explained, I guess, how if we were in unity, how that could affect the world, like in what aspect, I guess. But good job.
Diamond?
Yeah, I agree. I liked where you were going with it, and I thought that your answer was a good one because I also align with it as well. But I felt like the argument for it was just a little bit weak. But other than that, I thought it was really good.
Stella?
I think you did great. I think you could also use an example of how we're not in unity, like a current event, to make your piece strong.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Yeah, tons of current event examples to pull from. And that, if you can bring in current events in an answer that makes sense, obviously, not forced, that adds brownie points to it as well, too, because it shows that you're, well-read and aware. Kathy?
So I only heard, I'm sorry, but I only heard bits and pieces of it. But I think with Kim, maybe with your voice, I know it's a little bit like soft. So maybe it'll help with your answer if you're able to like make the volume a little bit higher and then stronger, like be strong with your answer and be confident with it. Because I know that you have your answer, it's just more of like projecting it to the judges so that they know that you're confident with your answer as well.
Excellent feedback, Kathy. Yeah, that's something I was going to say too. So Kim, listen to how a lot of the really clear voices are being spoken here today. That's what you want to hear. You'll see this in the recording as well too. So you do not want to be remembered as a girl that couldn't hear. You want to be remembered as a girl who gave an amazing answer. So definitely be confident in how you answer the questions. Be very vocal, not shouting or yelling, but definitely be very just easy to hear, very easy to listen to, and be very easy to understand. That's super important. Okay, and that also goes. Make sure. Gosh, I don't know how best way to do this, but try to do everything you can to make sure that your microphone and your audio is like working that day, like whatever it takes. If you have, like Rose doesn't want to have headphones and stuff because she says it spoils the look, but we convinced her, like, if there's no other way, like if that's the only way that we can actually make sure that you guys are heard and can be heard and you can hear, then we're gonna allow that. So you guys, practice with each other, practice with me if you need to, and really understand what are the technical things you need to have in place. But the worst thing is for you guys to lose points because you couldn't hear what the judges asked you, or they couldn't hear what you answered. That's a terrible way to lose points. Diamond, you had a question?
No, I have a comment. If I know you guys don't want to use them, or if you can, but you can purchase one of these. It's a tiny little microphone. It's super easy to hide in your clothes. Mine's got the fuzzy on it, but you can get one without a fuzzy. It was really cheap. You just sort of like put it in your clothes and it makes things really, really clear. And this was like maybe $20 just because I got the fuzzy one. So if you want something to consider if you're worried about how you sound and not being heard and not being able to be heard clearly.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Diamond. It's like I said, video is not even that important. Like most of you guys, I can see some really clear cameras and some are a little fuzzy, and that's not even that big of a deal. But and this is one of the biggest things people don't realize. Audio is actually more important than video. Even like on TV shows, definitely during like video chats. I can watch a movie, and if the video is kind of crappy, I can power through it if I can understand. But if we have a great video and I can understand anything people are saying, I will shut off that video right off the spot. I'm like, forget it. I'm not even going to put myself through that torture. So right now, Kim, next time we hear you talk, I want to see whether this is an audio thing from your side or just your own vocal cords. Okay, I want to hear a good, strong voice next time. All right. Tara, right now I'm getting a little bit of feedback from Europe, but it could be because you're outside. So I'm gonna chalk it up to that. But right now, your audio is a little bit in and out sometimes. Okay. So we just have to make sure these things are addressed before the 29th of August. Okay. So that was, I'm sorry, let me go on. Who did I just ask? I just asked Kathy. You just got feedback from you, Kathy, right? So Tara, feedback, please.
Now that we've talked about microphones and things, I kind of forgot your answer a little bit. But I do remember you had a solid answer, and I agreed with what everyone else was saying. And just, I guess, the voice thing was the only thing, because I definitely remember you were talking about unity. Like you repeated it multiple times and it got in here. I got it. Even like minutes later, I still remember you said unity.
Good job. Thank you. Olivia.
Well done. I thought that was a wonderful growth and sort of development from the first answer, and that was like within a couple of minutes, so well done on that front. Two things that I just noticed, and it's not necessarily about your answer, but just in general that I had an insight about, is one, like deliver your answer with passion, because everything that you say has to have some type of emotion behind it. If you're not touching on an emotional thread, you can't communicate that in your words to the judges or anyone in the audience. So I really think it's important to, one, identify what do I want to say, and then what is the actual emotion. And it doesn't have to be like rainbows and daisies. Like it can be, hey, this is what I think, and this is why I think it, and I'm really passionate. And sometimes you can be angry, and you can explore a lot of different ranges of emotion. But I think tapping into that will really help make your answer much more compelling, which is really what we're looking for. And I'm not a judge. I don't know why I said that like I was.
Great feedback. Awesome. Okay, so that was Megan, right? So then let's go to Kim. Why don't you ask the question now? Let's put you on the judge's seat. You pick a question that you have, and you pick a sister that will be your delegate.
Okay, I will pick Diamond just because I just really like listening to your answers. Okay, let's see.
Hold on, let me get my timer. Okay.
Yes, get your timers.
Okay, well, I hope you are updated with relevant news. Okay, hi Diamond, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So your question is, with the current Black Lives Movement matter and the current police reform, how would you reform the current police department?
That's a good question. I know that right now there's a lot of defund the police going on, and I think that they kind of have the right idea, just maybe defunding is not the right word to use. I think that if they took some of the funds that they use towards the police and the police system and used it to either retrain or provide different types of training, as well as siphoning off some of the money into other systems like education and social reform, it would be really beneficial. Thank you.
39 seconds, just barely, 39 seconds. Good job, just right there, spot there. Okay, Kim, feedback?
Ooh, I knew that was a tough question, given that you are not in America either at the moment. You were in Australia, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was hoping that you have like a basic understanding of like what's been going on, and you are right on like the whole like defunding. That's not the most accurate word, and I'm glad that you addressed that part. I think for me personally, you were stating like a lot of facts, but I was getting like a little bit lost in like your facts as well. That was for me personally, and I felt like I couldn't keep up with the answer. But overall, I like your ideas though.
Excellent, thank you. Tara?
Yeah, honestly, I thought that was like a great answer. It was almost like you were having a conversation with us, like explaining your like beliefs on the whole issue. Yeah, I don't really have any critiques because like I agree.
Okay, great, thank you. Olivia?
It was a hard question. It's a hard question because the answer is so contentious right now, and you can want to reform police, but not agree with the entirety of what people are delivering, in legislation and in cities. So with that, like, I think you honestly did the best you very could. I could see you thinking through your answer as you were giving it out. And I like how you gave specific examples. If you were to get this question again, I feel like you would knock it out of the park. So my only piece of advice is to take all of these current events that we have and make sure you have the research done ahead of time, because then when you get it next time, you'll be like, oh, I know what my answer is. Here are my points, and then I'll just flow better. But great job, Diamond. Very well done.
Thank you. Stella?
I honestly don't have any critiques. I think it was wonderful and definitely informed everyone. I think you used facts that were in like, it was really easy to understand the words that you used to state the facts rather than going all statistical, because I feel like then I would get lost. But the simplicity that you used to explain it was beautiful.
Excellent. Well done. Megan?
Yeah, I agree with what everyone has been saying so far. I liked how you use specific examples and you really explained like certain things that you wanted to change and how it's different from defunding the police. No critiques from me. Good job.
Good job. Thank you. Kathy?
I think it's good to state examples, but don't like state too much. Like I would want to hear more of your personal opinion on it rather than just stating the facts, because that's something that we probably already know. So give the judges a little bit more of your personal opinion on it versus just stating facts.
Excellent. Very good. Yeah, nothing too much from me. Everyone pretty much said everything I was thinking. And you used literally pretty much every second of your time to answer that. So I could tell that you were definitely contemplating, thinking, and generating an answer. But yeah, a little bit of your own personal reflection would be a great fit for that. Okay. All right, let's go with Tara. You get to play judge and ask a question to one of your sisters.
Okay. Because her voice should be in a podcast, I'm gonna choose Olivia. And let me pull up my list of questions. Okay, Olivia. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Tara?
Good. So your question is, from the day you were born until now, are there any theories you've heard from school, family, etc., that you do not agree with?
I'm so sorry. Can you repeat the question? I wasn't able to hear it clearly.
Yeah. So from the day you were born until now, are there any theories you've heard from school, family, etc., that you do not agree with?
Can I just clarify? Is the word theory?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your question. My answer would be that in school, I learned that America was the center of the world, that we were a global hegemon, that we had power and structure and systems, and we were exceptional at everything that we did. I later learned after traveling to 30 different countries, backpacking through the world and developing world, that that wasn't necessarily the case. And so I've been able to re-examine my beliefs and see really from a more realistic standpoint what America is and can be.
Excellent. 36 seconds. Let's go with you first, Tara. What did you think?
Yeah, besides probably like my audio issues, I apologize.
Okay.
You had a great answer. I like that you paused to think about it. Like, even though it was like, I don't know, like 3-4 seconds of that estimating time, it was still like, could tell you were taking time to like think about your answer, and then you had a great answer. You gave personal experience and you wrapped it up really well.
Excellent. Very good. Thank you. Tara, I think we can test this again next time, but it might be your AirPods. Yeah, because I can hear myself kind of screeching a little bit even when I'm talking from your side. So it might be your AirPods that might be just having a slight little out of sync connection with the computer. But yeah, we definitely hear, or at least I can, probably so can Olivia, the little screeches almost after every few phrases. Is that what you heard too, Olivia? Yeah, it was almost like like that type of a sound. So we need to make sure that we address that between now and August for sure. Okay. Okay. But that's just equipment stuff. All right, Megan, feedback, please.
Yeah, I really liked how you put that, the 33 countries. I was like, wow, that's a lot of places. So it made me really want to learn more about you. Yeah, I'm not getting any critiques for me. Good job.
Okay. Good job. Stella?
I really liked it all the way through. The ending was great. I think you restated it but it was a little bit unclear, like the restating the first thing that you said, it was a little unclear to me. The rest of it was great. I definitely agree with the topic, and I was like, wow, I learned that, and I understand that, but I would have never thought about that for this like question. So it was really good.
Excellent. Thank you, Stella. Kathy?
I only heard part of the answer because I had to get my charger, but I'm so sorry. So I can't really give a full feedback on it.
Okay, do you want to give a feedback on what you did here?
Uh,
Do you want to give any feedback for what the part you did here, or did you not hear enough?
I heard about the countries part, but that's the
Okay.
only snippet I heard.
No worries. No worries. All right, we'll get you in the next one here.
Okay.
Did I ask you already? Did I ask you for feedback already?
What?
Yeah, I didn't. Have I asked you? Do you have feedback? I don't think I asked you for feedback yet, have I?
You did.
Okay, see, I'm sorry. This Zoom keeps throwing all you guys out of sync right now for some reason. It keeps rearranging you guys. I'm like, oh shit, did I ask her yet? So, all right, Diamond, I'm pretty sure I haven't asked you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought your answer was really good. I liked it. And I think that this was a really good example of a personal experience making your answer very strong. You're 30. Sorry, my voice is being replayed back to me right now.
We're hearing some feedback too.
Hold on. Okay.
Testing.
Yeah. I think that the 30 countries really supported your argument when you said that you can see what America is and what it can be. And I think that this is a really good example of your own personal experience in an answer supporting the argument. So it was a good answer.
Okay, excellent. Well done. And yeah, I thought it was really well done, Olivia. You had a great. I loved the fact how you stated very clearly that the theory that you do not agree with, that you were taught, that we're all taught, was that America is the center of the universe, and how you had to learn on your own that that was just what that one country teaches. So well done, good job. Okay, since Zoom insists on rearranging you guys every few seconds, I just finished talking. Who was the last person? It was like Kim that gave the answer. No, it was Tara, right? Tara was it, right? All right, so I'm just gonna have to ask you guys to at this point, let's just go down a list of what I see here, which will change again in another 5 seconds. Let's go with Diamond. Diamond, you ask a question and you pick your sister.
Okay.
Wait, really quick, Francis, can you let my phone into the meeting? Because I think it's my Wi-Fi.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Can you let my phone into the meeting? Because my Wi-Fi keeps saying it's unstable.
All right, your phone is now in the meeting. Is it working?
I like how it's labeled.
Oh.
Yikes.
Okay, cool. And are you able to hear us okay through your phone, Tara?
Yes. Is this better?
It seems better right now. We'll find out as soon as we start talking in a sentence.
Yes. Great.
All right, let's go with Diamond here. Diamond, your turn to ask a question.
Yeah, let me scroll through the top.
And you pick your sister.
Yeah, Stella.
Ooh, Stella.
Hi, Stella. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. How are
Good.
you?
I'm doing good, thank you. I want to know, do you think student loans should be forgiven?
I do think that student loans should be forgiven because a lot of people really struggle with education, and it's not fair that some people aren't allowed the same opportunities to learn and grow and help others just because they don't have enough money to pay for it, which could be for numerous circumstances. My friend, her father passed away from cancer, and she is struggling with money right now to go to college. So I definitely do think that student loans should be forgiven.
Excellent. 26 seconds. Diamond, what do you think?
Yeah, I think, are you timing yourself as well?
Yes.
I think you could have used a few extra seconds to just tie in your friend's story to your answer. I saw the connection, but I think it felt a little forced instead of smooth flowing with your answer. Other than that, I liked the what am I trying to say? Formula of your answer. I liked the formula of your answer.
Excellent. Thank you, Diamond. Olivia, what do you think?
First time hearing a personal anecdotal story, awesome. I love those like so much. Those are the things that are really memorable. It felt like when you started, you were speeding through it. You're like, oh, I just want to get out of the gate. Like, let's go. And then you ended it really early. So maybe just like next time is take a second to just pace yourself. Like milk that time, like make those seconds work for you so that when it comes across, it feels like a melody versus just like staccato, which is just like going really fast and stopping really abruptly. But otherwise, like great, that was very well done.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Tara's phone.
Yes, my phone's critique is, yeah, that was great. You definitely improved from your last answer, and I have to agree with Olivia. The personal anecdote was really interesting and memorable. I just agree with Diamond. Try and integrate it more, and it would be like way even stronger. Yeah.
Excellent. And you sound much better now, by the way, Tara.
See, it wasn't the AirPods, Francis. I didn't spend all that money on them, okay?
Was it with the Wi-Fi?
It was the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, next time we make sure, as we do this, sit as close as possible to your router.
I know, I'm gonna hug it. It'll be right next to me.
Put it right in your lap, and then we'll be good. Right.
Sorry, just a question for like the feedback I've been given so far.
Mm-hmm.
How would you say like a good way to integrate it is? Because I see what you're saying, but I don't know how to integrate my friend's story with my answer more than how
Okay, and Olivia, do you guys want to take that since you guys were the ones who brought it up?
I can just say what my idea was is you could like start off with the anecdote and then like explain how like oh, okay, so let's say I was given the question, I'll be like, so one of my good friends whose father has cancer is actually struggling a lot to pay for their student loans, and she deserves an education just like everybody else, and thus blah blah blah, student loans should be forgiven, blah, blah, you know, the rest of the answer. That way it like, I don't know, it just like ties in more.
Yeah, definitely. It does definitely.
I think I actually saw when you had the idea to tell about your friend. It was right after you had said, it's not fair if you don't have money, no matter the circumstance, or something. You said something like that. And then I think right then is when you thought, like my friend, but you had already started to say something else. And then you added my friend. I think when you said, no matter the circumstance, for example, my friend's father just passed away from cancer or is fighting cancer. I'm not, sorry, I can't remember what it said, but that story right then and there. And then you can say, so no matter what, I think that everyone has the opportunity to afford school, or since, you know, just right when you said that, you should give your example.
So establishing it as an example and then make the conclusion. Okay.
Right. Olivia, do you have anything you want to add to that, or?
Yeah, and I feel like if you go to like the individual level and you're telling the individual story, you can flip it by saying, and she is not, there are like thousands of people in circumstances like this. She's not a unique case. She's not even an outlier. You know, hundreds of thousands of students around the world are burdened in debt. And then continue on where you're going.
Yep, excellent. Great advice. Thank you, guys. Megan?
I feel like everyone has basically said what I wanted to say. I guess adding on to what Olivia said earlier with the whole milking the whole argument thing, I felt like my mind was just trying to process everything as it was going really, really fast. So maybe just taking a little more time and maybe just slowing down just a little bit so it kind of really gets into the judges' minds of what you're trying to say.
Excellent. Thank you. And where am I here? Okay, Kim.
Okay, I think I'm on the boat with everyone else. I think there's an art of, you know, speaking slowly and clearly and like really pulling in your audience. When you speak too fast, you know, your brain's just trying to catch up with everything. But having your concrete story and really talking slowly and pulling them in, I think that's like a really good technique to pull in the judges to like really listen to you and like remember that story, because I remember that story. It was a very powerful one, but just speaking can really take it to the next level.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And Kathy.
I think Stella, just if you first take a deep breath, I think that will really help you. But also with your story, add some emotion. I think because it's a story about your friend and about her father, make it more, because it's a personal story, show a little bit of emotion, and I think the judges will really be able to be touched by that. So instead of just going through it and just saying it as an answer, adding a little emotion will really help make the answer be a lot more powerful.
Excellent. Good job. And yeah, my feedback is pretty much the same. I love the fact that if you can bring this into a personal level and show why that is something that you would take the stance on in that respect, that's really powerful, because obviously anything that has to do with money, people are going to be like, well, who's going to pay for it, right? But if you say that this is something that education, you always think there should be more of a right than a privilege, that already gives you that leverage to make that argument right off the bat there. Okay. Okay, let us go with that was Diamond. You asked that question, right, Diamond?
Yes.
Now let's go with Olivia. Olivia, you are the judge. You get to pick your victim.
Ooh, who am I gonna choose?
Ask something fun.
Kathy, have you answered yet? Did you say ask something fun?
Ask something fun. You always have fun questions.
Okay, cool, because I'm going to just ditch the first three that I was thinking of then. Kathy, have you gone yet?
No.
Okay, let's go with you. Okay.
I had a feeling you were going to pick me.
It was either you or Kim. I was like, I think Kim's already gone twice, though. Okay. My question is, Kathy, how are you?
Oh, Kathy, time yourself.
Yeah, time yourself.
Oh, yeah. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, get your little timer ready and just get you going.
Okay.
Let us know when you're ready.
All right.
Good? Okay.
So my question is, who is your role model and why?
As of right now, my role model has to be Oprah Winfrey. And mainly because I followed her throughout the years, and she's such a powerful woman, and I always strive to be a powerful leader in this world and always seek advice from her. I think she has a lot of strong advice to give, and I think many women should definitely use her as guidance, because she has given me the proper guidance to lead with a purpose.
Excellent. How much time did you have down on your clock there?
Mine's is 48 seconds.
48 seconds?
Yeah, I think it's because I started a little bit earlier.
You jumped yourself. Okay. The timing, by the way, just so everyone knows, the timing starts as soon as the question is finished.
Okay.
Okay. So not like when Olivia starts talking. When you start talking. Okay. So I got 35 seconds. What I got, like as soon as Olivia finished asking and when you started answering. But that's what I got. Anyway, so let's go back to Olivia. Olivia, what do you think?
I'm looking for a piece of paper or something, because I'm going to flip a 10 out of 10 because I thought that was a great answer. You can just imagine that was the effect of what I just did.
Good job.
10, yeah, that was great.
Awesome. Megan, feedback?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I guess if you had a little more time, I would have liked to hear more about like how it changed you to what you're doing today, and like how it's an after effect of what you're doing now. But if you had more time. But overall, it's really good.
Excellent. Kim, feedback?
I also agree with Megan. I thought you had such like a really good answer, but I felt like it could have been a little bit stronger if you would have stated like, oh, how did she guide you to like your purpose or like your passion?
Excellent. Thank you. Stella?
I think using an example of something Oprah did that really inspired you, like we've been saying, using examples, maybe that would help. But in general, I agree with everyone else. I think you did really good.
on explaining how she helped you.
Thank you.
Great, awesome. Diamond.
Agree with everyone's sentiments. No need to
Sure.
repeat it. I just agree with what they've said.
Excellent. Tara.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the sentiments, and honestly, this is just to add on to make you get more gold stars, like 11 out of 10, like maybe a personal anecdote of like how Oprah did something that you copied or emulated, you know, that'd be great. But 10 out of 10.
Nice, excellent. Good job. Did I get everybody? Feedback? I think I did, right? Okay. So, who have I not asked to bring the question? Have I asked? I think Stella. You haven't asked a question yet, have you, right, Stella?
I have not asked a question
Okay,
yet.
so let us put you in the judges. And you have to pick out your question and then pick out your sister of choice.
So sorry.
As soon as you join back with us. Okay. Did we lose you? Okay.
More like a peekaboo. Here I am. Here
I'm so sorry. It's
Is it? Are you there, Stella? Did we lose Stella? Wow, what are the chances of the timing happening? Okay, so Stella, if you're there with us, then maybe if you're having some technical difficulty, we'll move on to the next sister and I'll come back to you. Okay, sounds good, like a good idea. That sounds good to me too. All right, then who has not asked a question? Kathy, you haven't asked a question. All right, so Kathy, let me get over
I will ask Olivia. Olivia, what makes you unique?
Thanks, Kathy. What makes me unique is that I'm an empath, and I have this unique ability to do something called mirror touch synesthesia, which means if you sneeze and I'm being present with you, I will actually sneeze too. And so with this ability, I can actually feel and experience the emotions of other people. So I've been in rooms where someone has hysterically broken into tears, and I just, like a remote control, I break hysterically into tears. And I would say no one else that I know has this, so that would make me unique.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Stella.
I'm sorry.
Welcome back.
For the place and then dropped, and I was like, oh no.
Did your phone drop? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad everything worked out.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so Kathy, what did you think?
I think I loved how you added a little humor. I thought it was funny, personally. So it's good to make the judges laugh, and the fact that you made me laugh, it made me want to listen to the rest of your answers. So I think you carried through really great.
Excellent, thank you. Diamond, what do you make? Are you making tea, Diamond?
My tea
It's
bag.
like a tea commercial.
Clogged the hole that I'm drinking out of, so I had to fix it. Sorry.
I'm all like, is she making coffee right there?
No, I had it, but I went to drink it and the bag got stuck in the little hole.
Well, good. I'm glad you got here to save your tea bag. That's great. Okay, awesome. Diamond, what did you think of Olivia's answer?
Yeah, I thought it was great. You definitely showed us what was unique, and you gave great examples. That's something I'd never heard of before. I'd heard of people feeling others' emotions and being able to like really get in touch with that, but I've never heard of anyone sneezing and hysterically crying at the same time. That's kind of cool, kind of scary, and I kind of want to hear more of your situations.
I wonder what it's going to be like during like pageant gala night when you guys are all on stage together about all its emotions.
You're gonna feel everyone's acceptance.
I know. I can't wait to. I'm gonna be watching you, Olivia, and see exactly how you're responding to all the emotions around, like washing over you at that exact moment on stage. That'd be fun. Okay, let's go to Megan. What do you think?
Yeah, I really liked your answer. Very, very unique. I like how you had these like big words, and I was like, whoa, I don't know what these mean. But then you explained it really well. So good job.
Awesome. Thank you. And then let us go with Kim.
I also agree with Megan. I really dislike jargon in a sense. You know, the audience is different, everyone is different on their vocabulary, but I really like how you use big words and you broke it down to simple words that we all understood. And on top of that, you used great examples and you threw like your own humor in it too. So great personality. 10 out of 10.
As hands.
We're just gonna have little cards next time.
Yeah.
Tara.
Yeah, I learned something new from your answer. So that was like really interesting and just a great way to leave a lasting impression on the judges. And like, yeah, 10 out of 10.
Okay, excellent. And of course, great job, Olivia. Love that. Like I said, I can't wait to see how you are during pageant night gala. That's gonna be so fun to watch. All right, so Stella, you're back.
Yes.
Okay. Your turn to ask a question to one of your sisters. Go for it. Pick one, and then let us know who it is.
So sorry, I haven't exactly been keeping track. Have any of you not been asked a question?
Oh, yeah, who hasn't been asked? Yeah. Tara hasn't been asked a question.
Megan? For
Yeah,
sure.
Tara.
So, hello, Megan. How are you?
Oh, okay, fine. Wait. It's Tara.
Tara?
Tara, yeah.
What? Okay. I'm sorry. Hello, Tara. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Stella?
I'm great. I have a question for you right now. If you had $1,000 and you could not keep it or spend it on yourself, what would you spend it on?
That's a great question. $1,000, although a huge sum of money, is not nearly enough for what I want to do with it. I definitely want to put that money into the healthcare system and the education system, maybe 500 each, but specifically in helping immigrant communities so that the healthcare system can better support them in patient care, and the education system to help support and uplift these underserved communities so that they have the resources and the confidence to go on and become the next leaders of the world. So that's what I would do with $1,000, is to help immigrant communities.
34 seconds, excellent. What did you think, Stella?
It was wonderful. I think it connects to your platform. So you really had, oh, did she just leave?
Did we just lose the yeah.
We wait for
Yeah, let's wait for her to get her feedback. Yes, technical difficulties of a virtual pageant.
I apologize.
What happened, Tara? You were right in the middle of your feedback.
I know. I was like, never mind. I don't want to hear. No, just kidding. My phone
just like you
logged me out really quick. But I'm back. I'm sorry. It's not going to touch anything, honestly.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to the feedback again, please. Stella, sorry about that.
So basically what I said is I could really hear your emotion, your passion through it, because I'm pretty sure this has to do with your platform. And so you're really well informed, and I think the points you made were really great. Maybe tying it back to something personal would have helped. But in general, I still feel like I was strongly moved by what you're saying, and you projected your voice and said it so perfectly. So good job.
Excellent. Well done. Kim, what did you think?
I also agree with Stella. I think I'm such like a really strong believer if you can tie it back to like an emotion or like something that you did, like an experience. Like I loved your ideas, but if you would have said something like, I experienced this in this healthcare, or I witnessed this personally, I felt like it would have been so more compelling. The overall was great.
Awesome. Thank you. Diamond?
I think that answer was a great example of turning your answer into something that relates to your platform. So if you couldn't give a complete answer on what you do with the $1,000, you just turned it right back into something you're passionate about, your platform. You're reminding the judges who you are, what you stand for, what your platform is in the competition. And I think that was a really good example of doing that.
Excellent. Well done. Thank you. Olivia?
Sorry, I have like the low-key plague over here. I'm just coughing really hard. Well done. That was the strongest finish that we've seen so far. Like you finished it on a note that made you seem like you were really punctuating the end of your message, and I appreciated that.
Excellent. Thank you. Kathy?
I personally think I personally first loved it. I loved the answer. I think that you were very passionate about talking about, donating the money to certain things. And so I personally liked it. I don't have anything or any critique to say about it.
Excellent. Thank you. And Megan?
Yeah, I agree with everyone. And 10 out of 10. I really liked it.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Fantastic. Okay. So we have enough time to go through everyone one more time. Is that good does that sound good to everybody? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go back with you, Megan. Megan, you get to ask a question to one of your sisters.
Okay.
Pick something, this is our last round for this session. Pick something that you feel can really challenge people. Like the most challenging question you have right now. And then pick whatever sister will be your victim at that point.
Okay. This is for Kathy.
Okay.
Hey, Kathy.
Hello.
So your question is, do you think euthanasia should be made legal across the world, and why?
Can I have you repeat the question?
Do you think euthanasia should be made legal across the world, and why?
Do you think euthanasia?
Yes, euthanasia.
Euthanasia.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question one more time?
Do you think euthanasia should be made legal across the world? Why?
Okay, got it. I believe that it's a choice. It comes down to if you think it's necessary to use euthanasia, but but I think that personally for me, it's a choice. So it should still be something that we should have illegal, so that sorry, I
Okay. All right. So I'm clocking.
I got stuck.
That's okay. I clock it at about the 45 seconds. If I don't count please repeat the question, and I can understand if there's an audio thing. We're gonna make sure that people asking the questions are very clear. If you don't understand, some people may not understand the question if English is not their first language. Not you, but there's people who've had that in the past. And so we're going to try to be as fair as that as possible. But to be fair with everybody, basically as soon as the question's asked, and I'm going to ask the staff to put together questions that are as jargon-free as possible, because we've had issues like this in the past. So, but yeah, if you don't understand the question, you can ask for a certain clarification, and it'll be the judges or whoever's asking questions, their discretion how to explain it to you. But if you can't hear it, then we'll try everything we can to make it as clear and simple as possible. But let's just go back with some feedback right now. Megan, what do you think?
That was a really hard question and very large vocabulary, so good job for attempting that. I guess because the question was hard, it was kind of hard to answer, but that's okay. I guess as for feedback, I would directly answer the question because I asked if you wanted to be legal or not, and you kind of started out with your opinions, which was good. But I guess just straight out, I guess I didn't get the answer right away, so I would have liked that. But yeah, it was a hard question, so good job.
Thank you. Olivia.
You'll have to pass on me. I wasn't here for the context.
Okay, no worries. I'll jump over to Stella. Stella?
I think you did a really good job considering you seemed pretty flustered in the end because you couldn't hear it. So I think you really gathered your thoughts in the end. It got a little rocky, but maybe, I know that takes up more time, but rather than just keep rambling on and trying to find a new direction, take a step back, find a new direction, and then speak. But again, I would be just as flustered in your situation, so good job.
Good job. Thank you. Tara?
Yeah, I think you did a good job even though you're like flustered maybe from not hearing the question or not understanding the jargon. I'm not really sure. But yeah, like I'm sure you know what you could do better next time. So yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Kim.
Like what everyone else said, I understand that, you know, there's a lot of noise going on. You can't hear, there's background noise. Frustration can definitely be a thing. I do really appreciate that you attempted to have an opinion, have a thought, and try to answer the question. I think my only word of advice is if you are still feeling very flustered, please take your time and just breathe. Like, I think breathing is like one of the best things that you can do to center yourself. You know, 2, 3 deep breaths and try it again.
Excellent. Thank you. Diamond?
Yeah, I agree. I think most of us can say that we saw you sort of thinking your answer through as you were saying it. There was a lot of this filler words and a lot of spaces in between to where your answer didn't seem very coherent. I think, like with what everyone else said, that if you just took 1 or 2 seconds in the very beginning, because as soon as you started, or as soon as she finished saying the question the second time, you went straight into, I think, and instead of even saying that, I think you could have just taken those few seconds to just be like, euthanasia, legal, not legal, what should I say? And then go forward with it.
Yep. Thank you. And yeah, like basically echoing everyone, that was definitely a hard question. But like before you even say a word, always have your stance. Yes, I agree, it should be legal. No, I don't agree, it should be illegal, or it should be legal. And you know, have your stance, and then at least one reason why, and then boom, hit the ground. And then by that time, form your final answer, right? And then hit the ground running with like, here's the preview of why I think it should be, you know, legal, illegal. This is the reason why, and then I'll reiterate one more time why. Okay. Boom. Again, this is the round where I want you guys to challenge each other, because heaven forbid this happens. So yeah, I'd rather you guys be tough with each other than have the judges be tough with you guys. Okay. Let us go with Kim. Kim, challenge one of your sisters here. And you need to turn on your mic.
Okay. My question will be for Megan.
Megan.
All right. Let me know if this question is appropriate first, but I'll just ask it. And if it's like a no, then I'll skip it. Okay. Hi, Megan. How are you?
I am good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. My question to you is, how do you stand in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement?
Thank you for the question. I definitely agree with what the movement is showcasing and what it stands for. I believe that systemic racism and all the racism that's been going on has been deeply rooted in history, and that we need to stand together and fight for what's right. And I think what we're fighting for is equality. And what we see now today, we definitely see that there are disparities in equality among minorities, such like the Black community. And together that we should fight together and stand in unity to fight what we believe in.
You. I got 20, after about 34 seconds from that one. Kim, feedback, please.
I know this is a little bit tough, just because if you don't know what it's about, it could be very hard. I felt like you didn't answer my question in a sense. I think I was looking for more of like an action of what you have done personally, instead of talking about the movement itself and like what it represents. So I think in the beginning, I felt that it would have been more concrete to say, I stand in solidarity by doing blank, and then talking about Black Lives Matter and like why it's so important. But overall, I really like your answer. Like, you have a really good understanding of like what the movement is and like why it's so important.
Thank you. Diamond?
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
If you start talking, it will say you're muted. Or did you do that, Francis?
I didn't mute you.
No. I was muted, and then I went to talk, and then it showed me a warning on my screen that said, you are muted.
Not for me. At least I
Very
don't.
cool. Very cool. Yeah, so I agree with Kim. I think that you talked about the movement and what is happening and what people think that they should be doing, but I would have liked to hear more about what you did specifically since the question was for you.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Diamond. Stella?
I think that if I got that question, I would have been confused as to whether you wanted an action or you wanted my viewpoint. And I think you answered your viewpoint, so if that's what you felt the question was about, then you did really good answering it. I think you said that you agree with their standpoint, but you didn't talk about their standpoint until the end. So maybe starting off with what the movement is about in your opinion, and then saying do you agree would make it better.
Thank you. Tara?
Yeah, I just gotta reiterate that I don't think I understood what you do for Black Lives Matter movement, but you definitely did a great job covering like the essential, like Black Lives Matter movement, what they're fighting for. So that was great. But yeah.
Thank you. Olivia?
The key word for me was how, and I think your answer would have been the right answer for what is Black Lives Matter or what is your opinion of it. But I'm actually curious to know whether you decided to answer the way you did because maybe you aren't doing anything. And I'm not saying this because of who you are or anything. I'm just saying like generally, like maybe we're all asked a question where we're actually not an activist or we're not doing active work. And I think that's a hard position because she kind of put you in a box. Like she shoehorned you into being a supporter of the movement. But like, what if it was like, what do you do to support white supremacy? Like on the opposite side, you're like, well, I don't. You know, how would you answer that? And I think it's okay, perhaps, that you didn't answer the question directly. But my interest was like, well, why didn't you? Was it because you didn't hear the answer correctly, or is it because like you personally are not involved? And if you're not personally involved, which is totally fine, like, what else could you say about it? Because I don't think you don't have to pretend or like perform like you are if you aren't. So yeah, feel free to take that with a grain of salt.
Awesome. Thank you, Olivia. Kathy?
I think your overall context was really good. I think you just need to be a little bit stronger when you're answering your question because I was following along, but then I kind of, you know, it wasn't a strong answer for me to follow till the end. So it's just something to just be confident and strong with your answer.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And back to you here, Megan. So Megan, good job overall. And yeah, one of the most important things is, and I think Janice touched on this last time, is that in the Q&A especially, and obviously also in an interview, but especially in the Q&A when it's like the only thing that they're going to judge you on, make sure you understand and answer the question being asked. So how have you supported or worked or engaged with, as opposed to what do you think this means? And if it helps, there's nothing wrong with this all, repeat the question. And you can say, so how have I ... And like Olivia said, even if you've done nothing, actively, so to speak, to support, if they ask you a question where they shoehorned you in there, you can say, well, what I've done to support Black Lives Matter is I've educated myself more about it. I've learned more about the history of this. I've learned where it came from. I learned the oppressions, where it started from, how it affects other minority classes such as myself, and understand how this is no longer something that's just reserved for one ethnic group. This affects all minority groups. So you can actually say what I've done is basically educated myself on this and have a much better idea and understand what this actually means and where it comes from. That could be a perfect answer too.
Okay, right. Thanks. Wait, Kim, what was the question again? Could you repeat it one more time?
Yeah. The question is, how do you stand in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement?
Okay, I think I interpreted that as what are my viewpoints on it, instead of, I guess, what I'm doing exactly.
So again, number one rule across the board is make sure you understand the question being asked. That you could give an amazing answer, but if it didn't answer the question, you're gonna get very little points for it. I've seen that happen a few times, but if you need to repeat the question to make sure you understand it. And then they'll be like, yes, that's a question. So if you need to do that for a second or two. And then also, during that time, you can also think of the answer too. Or you clarify, oh, wait, that's not the question. I'm sorry, what was the question again? And that's fine too, all right? But overall, these are important lessons. So I hope you guys are taking notes. Let us go with Kim. Wait, Kim, you asked a question, sorry. Let us go with, so wait, who asked questions so far? Kim has asked a question, right? Megan, have you asked a question yet?
Yes, I did.
You already asked a question? Okay, daggum Zoom is like putting me all over the place. Let's go with Tara. Let's see how this flips me around here. Tara, you
Yes.
are a judge and you will ask a fun and challenging question to any one of your sisters.
Okay, a spicy one. Okay.
Sure.
Let's see who hasn't gone. Diamond, have you gone again? No. Okay. Diamond, how are you?
Good, thank you.
My question for you is, if you were to have a seat at the UN table this year, what would you bring to the table?
Well, I'm not very familiar with politics, but if I had the opportunity to sit at the UN table, I would like to bring up the point that the world is very divisive right now. And I think that in a lot of countries, we're experiencing this separation within our communities, and we're having a wedge driven in between lots and lots of different types of communities. So if I had the opportunity to sit with the UN, I'd like to bring this up and try to figure out a way where we can be less divisive with each other.
You good? Did you time yourself, Diamond?
Yeah, 40 on the dot.
I got almost between 40, 41, so pretty good. Right on the dot. But I'll also say this: if you're, so it's up to you. You can decide whether you want to sacrifice a few seconds to get your answer. But I'm saying right now, when you hit 40, that's a really touchy zone right there. Okay.
I was going for 38, but I've still had one or two words, and I think my sentence would have sounded funny if I just stopped mid-sentence.
Fair enough. That's good. But yeah, just let you know, 40 seconds. If you hit 40 seconds on the dot, really cutting close. If you don't want to lose any points, okay? Just if you're willing to sacrifice a tough point, that's fine. Okay, your call. All right, excellent. Tara, feedback, please.
Yeah, I just meant it to be super open-ended to see what you had to say, and it was a good answer, honestly. Like, I understood like what your main focus would have been, like, and you didn't really divulge far from that, which so it was good that there was a nice solid focus too.
Excellent. Thank you. Stella.
I think it was a really good answer. I don't, maybe choosing one topic to just give an example would have helped, like make it a more in-depth question, but at the same time, like what you said took enough time already. And like it was still really easy to follow along, and good job.
Awesome. Thank you. Kim.
I really like your answer. I always feel like you have such good flow. There's like really good structure in it as well. I was reflecting back and I was thinking, would I want to add like a personal thing into it? But I think your question was really, or your answer was very strong as it is too. So no, I would not add or change anything. 10 out of 10.
Excellent. Megan?
Yeah, I really liked your answer. I liked how you were honest in the beginning and said you weren't really connected to politics, but then you still gave your opinion anyways on what topics you thought were important to you.
Awesome. Thank you. Livia?
I'm going to get more granular just because I think you can grow a lot, especially from like a 9 to a 10. So this is very specific. But I think that when you said the word politics and the question was about the United Nations, your answer became more political on a more national level. Like it felt like an answer that you would say, if I'm going to the Oval Office, I'm going to talk to the president, or I'm speaking to senators in Congress. But, you know, at the United Nations, a lot of the things they work on are international regulations. You can talk like arms trafficking, children, space. Like I think the topic of your answer would have been better had you chosen something that the UN has responsibility in overseeing and governing. But that's just super technical because like I used to work with the UN, so like, you know, take
Excellent.
it for what it is.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Olivia. And Kathy.
I like how you're very honest and weren't afraid to be honest with your answer. So I think it was really good overall. You sounded really confident, and yeah, I think it was great.
Awesome. Good job. And I already gave you my feedback. Diamond, good job. Just give yourself, my advice, give yourself a 5-second buffer zone. Like plan your answer to be 35 seconds and then plan to crush it in 35 seconds. So in case you need an extra 2 words, you're hitting 38, 39, you still have, that buffer zone. Unless, of course, you're okay with sacrificing a few tenths of the points. But if you can help it, yeah. Otherwise, great job. Okay, so we've had, who have we had? We've had Megan, we've had Tara, we've had, who asked the last question again? Oh yeah, wait, who? Megan, Tara, and who's gone so far and asking questions? Megan has asked questions, Tara's asked questions, and Kim is asking, got it. So let's do Stella. Stella, you ask a question. Something nice and fun and challenging and spicy to one of your sisters.
Tara, have you answered yet?
Not a spicy one, no.
For sure. So, hello, Tara. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking.
So, I just had a quick question. Do you feel like the looting in the context of the Black Lives Matter movement was justified?
That's a great question that's really deeply enrooted in what the Black Lives Matter movement stands for. So, of course, they stand for unity and wanting full respect for the African American community here in America. And the leading of this movement was very important to have their voice and use their First Amendment right to reflect on these Black voices that have been suppressed or maybe not as prominent in American culture. So I think while there could be, perfections and altering of the leading of this movement, I think the Black Lives Movement was justified.
Thank you so much. 37 seconds there. Nice job. Good job. Stella, feedback.
It was a great answer. I asked about the looting. You said that the Black Matter movement was justified, but you didn't touch upon the looting too much. But yeah, it might have been on my end. Maybe I said it too fast because I know we can speak too fast often. But yeah, just make sure to stay, make sure that you know what the question was specifically. But good job.
Did you hear the word looting at all, Tara?
No, I heard leading.
Oh, leading. Okay.
But the judges could do that too. So
yeah.
that's
so this is why it's important. Even if you're not, but it may not be a bad idea to repeat the question and make sure. So the leading, and they're like, no, looting. Like, oh, got it, looting. All right. So it may not be a bad idea especially if you're not quite sure. But even if you're sure, unless you're absolutely sure, to repeat the question. And especially when it's a political question too, because one word can change the entire angle of that question, right?
Yeah.
So that's a great lesson right there for everyone. Kim, understand what happened? What do you think?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Just because you answer, like you heard something different, and then you answered something different. I was really looking for a justification of looting or your disagreement with it, but since you didn't hear that context, oof, girl. I don't know, Francis, what is your thought on?
I would say repeat the question, because it is ultimately your responsibility to clarify it right there during that time frame. The judges won't clarify it for you if you don't indicate that you need any clarification.
Right. But I was like, okay, I mean, obviously I was on my fault, but I was pretty sure I heard leading. So what if I was let's say I was just repeating the question, would they have even stopped me and be like, no, looting?
They would.
Do you know what I mean? If I was.
So if you repeat the question and said, so how does the leading of Black Lives Matter? And if they heard you say leading, like, no, sorry, we said looting.
Okay.
And don't take that into consideration as you answer within your time. But if you answer the question, and even though you heard it wrong,
Mhm.
they will still count that against you because you have all within your right to repeat the question for clarification too.
Mhm.
So you
Hearing
don't.
it now, it sounds so similar, those two words. So
So especially when it comes down to something that has to do with politics, and one word can change the entire angle of it. If you don't take it upon yourself to clarify the question, they will count that against you because you have that within your right to exercise that if you wish to.
Mhm.
If you don't and just go with it, then they're like, well, she didn't ask. It's for clarification. She did a great answer if it was this question. So, this is a great lesson to take away for today is even if there's a hint, even the slightest hint of, did I hear that right? Clarify it.
Mhm.
Because that could be the difference between scoring well and scoring very poorly. And they'll feel sorry for you, but they're gonna have to be fair with everyone else. Right? Because it's your responsibility to clarify. And if you don't, they just assume you understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Kathy, what do you think of the whole situation?
Although Tara didn't answer the question, she misunderstood the question. I think I loved her answer. I loved your answer overall, Tara. You carried through really nicely, and I have nothing bad to say. Although I know the question was, you misheard the question. So I guess clarifying it, but that's okay because you still were able to carry through your answer.
Mm-hmm. Well done, exactly. Olivia, any feedback and comments about what we just witnessed today?
Nothing that hasn't already been said.
Got it.
Thanks
Diamond?
for asking.
Of course. Diamond, anything you want to add?
I thought it was good. I also heard leading, so my opinion was based on that question.
Excellent. Megan, you got anything you want to add?
Just a quick question. So if you ask them to clarify the question, does that also count to your time?
They would get, if you clarifying as in like, can you repeat it? Like that kind of a clarification?
Yeah.
That might, they'll take that in consideration is that especially if they already know that, they can tell that English is not your first language, then they'll definitely take into consideration. But if the question is free of jargon, they'll give you probably a one-off of like, okay, maybe they didn't ask it very clearly, and they'll ask it more clearly, more enunciate it more slowly. But you probably, but if it's a really simple question, like if you could cure disease, if you could cure one disease in the world, what would it be? And you could say, can you repeat the question again? Like if you can cure one disease in the world, what would it be? That's pretty much your last chance at that point because there's no jargoning there. They're enunciating it very clearly, right? If they can tell that English is your second language, they might do a little extra thing like disease, sickness, illness, cure, get rid of, things like that to help you along. But then probably one shot for that.
But does the timer start at the end?
It does start. They do take consideration. So as soon as the question's asked, that's actually counted toward it as well too. But they might be like, okay, maybe give her an extra 3 seconds off that.
Okay, thanks. But yeah, I also heard, I didn't hear looting either. So my opinions are also
not a bad idea, guys, to like make sure you hear the question correctly. And this is a good example of why that's super important. And we've seen a few cases where the misunderstanding the question was not the fault of the delegate per se, but it is ultimately your responsibility to make sure you understand what's being asked, okay, before you answer. All right, so we've got, who has not asked a question yet? Okay, let us go with Kathy. Kathy, you pick a nice spicy question, ask it clearly, and then whoever you pick for your sister choice is their responsibility to make sure they know what your question is. And I will time as usual.
Okay, so who hasn't gone yet?
I haven't.
Who? I'm sorry. Okay, Kim.
Oh.
Okay. So Kim, your question is, if you could choose between love or career, what would you choose?
Thank you, Kathy. If I were to choose between love and career, I would actually choose my career. I have worked so hard my entire life to build where I am, going through the education system, achieving my master's, I believe that I can make a bigger impact in the world within the mental health community if I continue to choose my career over my love life. I believe that the road that I am continuing and what I'm doing right now will have a strong impact. So I would choose my career over my love life any day.
Excellent. 36 seconds. Kathy, feedback, please.
I think it was good. Yeah, I maybe it's I would want to hear more. I think it came out, it was a good overall answer, but I would want to hear a little bit more so that it leaves more of a stronger impact. But I think you did good overall. You answered the question and you ended it with repeating the question. So it was good.
Excellent. Thank you. Tara?
Oh, I wasn't unmuted. Wow. I think it was good. And yeah, like, I mean, we really don't have much time. So you definitely like got to what you want to say. You added a little personal detail about like your master's and how hard you worked towards it. And it was great. And honestly, I thought it was like a little humorous and interesting because you were like, any day of my career over my love. And I was like, okay, go girl. So yeah, it was good.
Excellent. Thank you, Tara. Kim? Oh, can you hear us, Kim? Okay. Feedback?
Kim answered.
Wait, I answered it.
Oh, you answered it? Oh,
I
sorry.
answered the question.
I'm sorry. This Zoom keeps throwing this all over the place. I don't know why Zoom keeps like
I
throwing
would
it.
to reflect.
I thought your answer was great. Okay, let's go to Stella. Oh my bad. I'm so sorry. Stella, did you answer? Did you give your feedback, Stella?
No, I did not.
Okay, your turn, Stella, to give her feedback.
I think you had a great answer. I think just what we've been saying with like vocal projection, it would have been a little more attention grabbing if you talked with maybe like, I don't know if it was more emotion or I just couldn't hear it because you were talking pretty quietly, but yeah, so just talk louder. But it was great. Good job.
Excellent. Thank you. Olivia.
I thought your answer, well, first of all, girl, you don't want love? What? I was a little sad at the end. I was like, oh, she don't want love.
I don't know that in my life.
So your answer was great, obviously, but I think there's a lot of room for you to like take it even up a notch, like give more of your personality, because like your answer actually was like super sassy, but you did it in this very like pleasant kind of baseline tone. So the delivery, like you could have actually made that super funny or like sassy or like kind of put a little punch behind it, because I feel like what you chose is pretty boss. Like you chose your career. So just like play that up a bit more and let people see your personality, because like we're just like wanting more and more and more of you.
Thank you, Olivia. Diamond?
Yeah, I agree with what everyone said so far. I am really curious as to what that strong impact is. You said I would choose my career over my love life because in the end it will have a stronger impact. But I want to know what that is, because I would choose love. I would definitely choose love. And so I'm so intrigued by your answer and I want to know what is it?
Awesome. Thank you. And Megan?
Yeah, I agree with what everyone else has said. I guess adding on to what Diamond was saying, it'd be really nice to know what you actually do for a career. I'm not sure if you mentioned that. I don't remember. But if you did, good job. If you didn't, my bad. But yeah, just maybe make it a little more lasting, I guess. But that's it.
Great job. Yeah. Overall, I thought you did a really good job, Kim. Yeah, well done, and good boss lady answer there. Nice. And I get definitely what Olivia said. If you can throw some sass into it, because your answer has sass pretty much written all over it. So if you do a little attitude, nothing arrogant, but just a little attitude in there, that would make it very memorable. Okay, now who has not asked a question yet? Diamond, Olivia, you haven't asked one either, right, Olivia?
Not in a while.
Okay, not the second round, right? Only the first round, right? So Olivia, Diamond, who else has not asked the second question? Megan, right?
Oh, I asked.
You asked? Okay, so let's go with let's go with Diamond. Diamond, you pick a
Who hasn't answered this round yet?
Stella.
And
Like, I don't remember. But I had a lot of practice on Wednesday, so you can toss it to Stella.
okay, Stella, I got one for you. Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. Under the new national security law implemented in Hong Kong, foreigners suspected of a crime against mainland China can be extradited upon arrival to Hong Kong directly to Beijing to face Beijing law. How do you feel about this?
I feel that foreigners should not be involved with Beijing's politics. As I heard with Beijing, if they feel like a foreigner is going against their beliefs, they can extradite them and, as you said, take them to trial, which I feel is not fair, as the views of a foreigner should not have to align with a country that they are not a part of. And even then, everyone should be able to have their own views and own opinions. So I feel that this law is unjust because people should have an open mind to different people's views.
Thank you. 53 seconds. That's what I got. Okay. So, but overall, let's hear what Diamond has to say.
Yeah, so that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I think that the question itself is a good example. This is for the rest of the girls as well. The question itself is a good example for what's going on in the world, not just what's going on in the US, because it is Miss Asian Global. So you have to be a little turned on what's happening outside of the States as well. As for your answer, totally a hard question. I totally get it. If you're not really familiar on the laws over there, you might not know how to approach it. I like that you were trying to give the examples that you did about foreigners not being aligned with it, but I might do a little bit more research on what's actually happening over there.
Yes. Thank you. Olivia?
In the very first, 2/3 of your answer, I'm pretty sure you condoned state sanctioned surveillance and torture, because that's basically what the law does. But then for some reason it kind of went backwards, and then you said you would give more rights to people who live outside of Hong Kong. So that was a little bit confusing. Obviously, this was a wild card, but I think it even just kind of highlights how important it is to be really well versed on world affairs, because there's probably a pretty strong consensus, at least in the Western world, on what this law is and what it stands for. And if you're not sure, what happens is your answer can reveal that you're not up to par on what the actual issue is, because it's a really serious issue. But that said, it's hard. This one was super tough. Read the news or listen to The Daily, because if you listen to The Daily, it's a podcast, you will get all of the world in 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and you'll always be up to date and even 3 or 4 or 5 days ahead of most people.
I'm going to send you guys a link in the chat here. This is pretty much Wikipedia's 2020. Everything that's happened in 2020, all the SHIT that's happened in 2020. So if you want a play-by-play, almost day by day throughout the month of all the things that happened in 2020, this is literally your calendar for it. And obviously it has links to it too. So you can look at that link and read about that. Asteroid almost missing the Earth. Please read about that. Right? Everything at all. Totally a play-by-play of everything. And we're only halfway through the year, for God's sakes. So, but there's more stuff happened in 2020 than I would say last almost decade, in terms of just what the hell type of thing. All right, so check out that link. It's probably pretty comprehensive for the last 6 months, and that's probably what will come up in any kind of politics at this point. Good overall, really good. Kim, what do you think?
This is a wild card, Diamond. I really appreciate this question. I personally felt that I couldn't really answer the question either. Like I was trying to formulate something along the way as for like practice as well. So for Stella, I like really appreciate you trying, you know, even though you went over 50, like you went over 40 seconds, you took up
Kim, Stella's not here.
Ah, dang it.
Well, let's wait until she gets back. Otherwise, like,
Dang it.
your feedback's gone with the wind.
Oh, Stella. Okay. Let me.
She comes back in. We should all just be like,
I message her and okay, she's coming back in again. What timing? Right when she's about to ask a question and right when she's getting her own feedback. All right, she is joining or rejoining. A second here. Stella, are you with us? Connecting to audio.
Sounds like a seance. Are you with us?
Stella,
Are you here? I think my
Can
phone's
you
over
hear
here.
me?
That's why it's glitching out so much.
Yes, I can feel her presence now. Okay, good. All right, welcome back, Stella. What happened?
I think my phone's overheating, so it's like glitching really bad.
Okay, all right, no worries. We are going to, this is our last session. We're about to close this up. We're just doing a quick, oh, good. Except for Olivia, you haven't asked a question yet, have you, Olivia?
No.
Okay, we'll do this real quick. So,
Okay.
So ask yourself and answer.
Actually, that would be funny because I don't know the answer, my stance on this yet.
so funny.
This one
But,
question.
okay, let me give your feedback to Stella.
Okay, really quickly, I really appreciate you trying to answer this question, even though it was a very hard concept to understand. Even though you went over like 40 seconds, I really appreciate that you still tried to answer it as best as you could. And I think that's what mattered to me the most. Structure-wise, I felt that in the middle, your reasoning was a little bit rough, but overall, like I do understand that it is a hard question.
Awesome, thank you. Megan?
Yeah, I agree with what everyone has been saying. I like how at the end you really brought it together and put your opinion on at the end, which kind of made it clear what the judges would here.
Awesome, thank you. Tara, did you have any feedback?
Yeah, obviously this is a tough question. As someone who is following Hong Kong news a lot, since that's personal to me, I may have answered that better versus you may answer other questions better. And I guess it's also just kind of important in political answers to kind of be aware that our judges might not always be on the side we're like standing for. I mean, obviously make your stance and like, you know, say what you want to say on that topic, but just maybe be mindful in like the language you use, in just in case, you know, maybe they are very much Chinese government, you know, pro, I don't know, you know, you never know who's judging you. But honestly, it was a tough question. You did great for such a spicy one.
Excellent. Thank you. Kathy, do you have any feedback?
I just agree. I agree with Kim. I think that question was hard. I would have a hard time answering it myself. So I think Stella did a really good job carrying it through. And although, you know, you may have stumbled, you ended it strong. And I applaud you for answering it the best that you could.
Excellent, well done. Okay, and yeah, same thing. That was a really tough question there, Stella. And you just basically have to have some sort of a, first we have to understanding of exactly what the details are as best you can, or extract it based on what you know, or worse comes to worse, wing it and go back to your own personal mission and be like, okay, well, what I believe is this. And no matter what happens out there, this must be respected. These are the things I believe are basic human rights. These are things that whether or not another government has, of course, they have their own rights to do what they want to, but at the end of the day, universally speaking, from a global stance, as long as these things are met, this is what I believe in. But if they're not, then I have to stand against those things, right? So you can always quote back to yourself if you have no clue what the hell is going on outside there, right? So. Besides Olivia, has anyone else? Wait, who has not gone besides Olivia? The second time. Okay, just Olivia? All right, Olivia, you get to close out with a spike. Oh man, whoever gets her question, I can't wait to see. So, question.
Okay, who wants a hard one? Who wants practice?
Yeah, who wants
Volunteer yourself.
who wants
It's
to,
just good for you.
Honestly,
Okay,
wants to level
yeah,
up?
get it, Tara. Because like honestly,
I'll go again.
do it. Because if you get it now, it'll never be as hard as what we're doing in practice. Like you'll know it by the time we get to the pageant. So my
I'm
question
gonna
for you.
repeat the question 100%.
So I may be using a word of jargon. If you want me to redefine the question, I'm happy to, just FYI. So your question, Tara, is what are your thoughts on the Israeli annexation of Palestine?
So my thoughts on the Israeli annexation of Palestine, which is actually something very close to my heart as one of my best friends is from Palestine. So the Palestine territory has dealt with many issues and conflicts with Israeli, and I honestly think there needs to be peace in this nation between both of them. Both sides need to come to a conversation where they can agree on peacefully coming to terms really with what they want to do with the territory, especially since Palestine has been so at unrest for so many years because of Israeli. Obviously my best friend's Palestinian. I'm gonna have to say free Palestine, but I think the best way to come to closure is for both governments to sit down and come to a concrete agreement that won't hurt the territories and the people living there.
Excellent. 49 seconds, Tara.
Oh, I know. I felt it. I was like, I have so much to say. Oh.
Good job. Okay, Olivia, feedback?
I get into that situation all the time because I'm super heated about Palestine and Israel. So my feedback, which you can totally dismiss if you don't want to listen to it, is take a second because I can see like you're forming all of these essays in the back of your brain and you only have one shot to get one clear message across. The clearest message that I heard you say was free Palestine. And if that's your personal opinion, I would have just led with that. Because the other answer was like, okay, kind of diplomatic, but also a little lukewarm, in my opinion, just because I know you and I both like really care about the Palestinians. So if you have a lot of stuff to say, like take that time, 3, 4, 5 seconds, like get it really clear, distill it down into one singular message and then say it. And I think you're actually gonna, if you do it that way, you'll save more time because your answer will be more refined. And you were super passionate. Like I could feel your passion. Just make sure that the content matches that passion in your voice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Kathy.
I loved how you related to something personally. So I love that you brought up your friend. And so it made it more genuine. And so I liked your answer overall. And I think you did really good, Tara.
Thank you, Kathy. Stella.
I like how you said your personal opinion, but you also tried to be respectful of other people's. Like you had a little humor when you said free Palestine. It was like saying that like, oh, I really believe in this, but then you went back to the fact that like what you feel they should do in a diplomatic sense. So good job.
Thank you. Diamond.
I totally agree with what everyone said so far. I really liked your passion and enthusiasm in this answer. I think actually this might have been your most passionate answer that you've given today. How much you got behind it. And I could really feel it. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like that's the way you should do it. That's awesome. So I really appreciated that. You don't need me to tell you that you went over time, so things like that. But I love the passion.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, did you say me? I couldn't hear.
Yeah, Kim.
Okay, I felt the passion, girl. Yes. I'm with you. I definitely heard it. It was very concrete. It was so bold. But I think like what Olivia said earlier, it's maybe just pick like one thing. You threw out so many things at us. You're so like well versed in it, but really picking one thing and like letting that be the voice of it.
Excellent. Thank you. And Megan.
Yeah, what everyone has said so far. I love the humor, sass, compassion. It was great.
Awesome. Fantastic. Okay. So overall, you guys did a great job. I don't have much feedback for you either, Tara. Obviously, very obvious that you have so much passion for this, but yeah. Always keep in mind, if someone asks you, so that's a 2 ends of the section, right? They can actually think you have no clue about it and go, how am I going to fill up 40 seconds with something I have no clue about? Or, oh my God, this is my baby here. I'm going to go to town with this. So both, you got to basically have that middle ground. Filling up about 35 seconds-ish, or being able to reel in your passion, like, okay, what is that one thing that is easy enough for me to get across and it's also important enough for me to share, right? So it's this constant balance between these two things, okay? At the end, you guys did a great job. The new girls who joined in this week, really good job. Oh, one feedback I do have for Stella. This is audio-wise, you're fine, but try to position your camera or whatever, if you're using your phone or camera or laptop, make it where it's eye level. And like, so it doesn't look like, you're staring down the phone at an angle. What we want is something that's very, eye to eye like that. So if you need to get like a stand or some sort of a clip or something like that to position your phone or camera, make sure that's very eye level. Because we want to make it very uniform with everyone else's, like eye to eye. That's the only thing from a visual point of view. But overall, I say you guys did an amazing job. You guys are improving every time I see you. Do you guys see, what did you guys, anything particular you guys learned today that was new for you guys?
Well, I learned to repeat the question.
Yes.
And timing is actually really helpful. I definitely forgot on the last one. But yeah, I was really great to listen to everybody's answers. And sometimes I might formulate an answer in my head that you guys have a completely different, your answer is completely different. And I learned a lot from what you guys are saying.
Yep. So yeah, two big takeaways is time yourself. Please time yourself, because that's one of your biggest advantages in this pageant. Number two, be very, very cognizant of the question itself. Repeat it. And unless you're absolutely 100% sure exactly what you're asked, there's nothing wrong with making sure you're answering the right question. Number three, I want to make sure I emphasize this. So I'm going to basically obviously record it, or we've already been recorded, and I'm going to share this with the thread, and I'm going to post another time for us to practice again next week. But by all means, set up times to practice each other. Like you don't need me for all. In fact, most of the practices you guys do should be with each other. So find 1 or 2 or 3 other girls, rotate, because every new girl will probably give you a new, I guess, what you call perspective questions that can be asked. Essentially, this is your chance to really get comfortable and get to the point where you're able to really anticipate each other's questions and really be able to formulate answers on the fly and make sure that you know exactly what to think about, how to judge yourself, how to gauge your timing. So I hope I hear, because I'll be asking you guys individually, have you been practicing with each other? Diamond.
I think a good thing to note as well when you're practicing with each other is don't be afraid to ask who you're practicing with to ask you the same question again. So that way you can really hone in your skill, especially if you feel like you just didn't nail the question quite right or you need to work on your timing. There's nothing wrong with having each other help re-ask the question. And even if you don't get the question, if you guys are practicing on your own, just ask like, hey, do you think you can check me on within the Black Lives Matter movement, how would you change the police system again? Could you just check me on that and see if I sound coherent? I think that that's a good way to practice as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And like practice, you can practice one-on-one of one of your sisters, or 2-on-1 or 3-on-1, whatever you want to, right? But the most important thing is get this as part of your regular basis. I've just seen too many girls who were amazing not practice, and but on the night of the pageant, they just, a lot of the things we saw today is what happens. And that's really unfortunate because these things can completely be eliminated from this good practice. Okay? Any questions for me or anyone else before we close this out? Yes, Stella?
More of a comment, but growing up, my mom didn't even want me watching the news. So even now when I'm at home, she still doesn't want me watching the news. So if you guys have any articles or any sites that really help you, like the suggestion of the daily podcast, it was really helpful. So thank you. But if you have any others, it would be, again, really appreciated. Thank you.
Check out Wikipedia. That has everything they say. You click on that, there's a link to everything that they're basically citing.
Yeah, and I also put in the chat, I don't know if everyone else saw, but it's like a website that kind of like breaks down everything happening in the world right now by like area or problem. It's also pretty useful. Shout out to Twitter people. They got it. They're on top of it. So yeah.
I think when my phone quit it, I can't see the chat before that.
Okay.
If you could
I'll send it again.
Sorry.
No,
I'll also send that to the group. I'll copy and paste all the chat stuff, the links we have here, and put that to the group. So
Send it into the Facebook group if you're able to. I didn't have that on all of my devices, whereas this conversation is just on my laptop device right now.
yeah, I'll put this on the Facebook group and also the Facebook thread. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? No? Well, you guys were amazing. Super proud of you. I will be sharing this on the thread again, and I will also set up another time. It's generally speaking, is Sundays what you guys prefer normally?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, except for Diamond. Diamond, this is your 8 a.m. This is your 8 a.m. Monday, isn't it?
Well, it's not 8 a.m. anymore.
Sorry, this is like what 10? Is it 10:30 now?
No, actually we started today at 10. So whatever time we've been doing all of the Zoom meetings have been perfect for me. It's been 10 a.m. on the dot.
Okay. Well, I can put in a poll, but you guys prefer Saturdays or Sundays, or weekdays?
Sundays for me.
Sundays.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there goes my Sundays. All right. So, all right, that's what we shall do. That's what everyone wants. All right, then. I will see you guys again very soon. Actually, next weekend is our next workshop. Okay, so I'll see you there for sure. And if you have any questions, please message Ranthi. I know she is going crazy with all the making sure that the love is secure, things are taken care of. So if you have any questions, message her. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in a few days. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you take care of yourselves.
Bye.
Well done. I'll see you guys later. Bye.